All right, guys. So I'm going to do a trade replay for today, and let's one of the trades that I took a couple of days ago, and I think if we do it replay into that, we would probably learn something. I want to go back to January 27th, January 7th, 2020. We woke up with a big watch list, a huge watch list. And the reason for that was because of the coronavirus. The whole stock was gapping down. One of the very few times that actually market was gapping down. So if I go back into SPY, so see, January 27th was, if you see here, market was gapping down. So again, this was a big gap down. So we had a big sell-off on the January 24th, and then on January 27th, we had a big gap down. So we woke up, to a very big watch list again. Carlos and Norm are going through the watch list, and it's very important for you guys to really go through the news, each of them one by one, and find the levels and everything, and made our life really easier. Because now sometimes I just wake up. It's not a good habit, but sometimes I wake up really early, late in the morning, just 6:15, and then just roll over and see all of the levels and everything is ready. It's not a good habit, but I mean, it's just definitely an advantage of being a part of a community. So, subscribe to the channel, and these guys go through that. But a day like this is just such a huge gappers watch list. What I usually do is a lot of stocks are getting affected by the market. So in the middle, a lot of minus 2%, 3% are probably because SPY was gapping down 2%. So in these cases, I usually look at the stocks that are really gapping down or really gapping up. In such a market that anything gaps up, that's really, really interesting definitely there are stocks in play. I think in that specific day, the recap is there. I think I traded NVAX, and also I traded LK. And we want to take a look at LK. If you have time, maybe we can just replay NVAX as well. So I want to look at LK and how we can actually possibly to trade that. So based on what I see here, stock is gapping down 9%. It's a Chinese coffee company. I don't know why it says manufacturing on the sector, but maybe they manufacture coffee, but generally, yeah. So that's my iPhone. That generally, it's gapping down 9%, and we want to play it, and we want to play what kind of trade we can actually do that. I did one trade on that, but I can actually go through the thought process and see if I can actually see any other trades on that as well. So again, this is a trade idea scanner that it's good to have. It's not 100% necessary for you, but if you can afford it, it's good to have to play around and stuff. But we shared it in YouTube, and also we shared it in the chat room. So it's not 100% necessary if you want to save some money and investment. But they do have a promotion right now for 2 weeks, $8 or something, so you can actually test it out there. So this trade idea goes on the other side. And so for those of you, again, we go to the daily chart, LK, look at it. We want to talk about this day. So, you probably don't know what's going to happen here. But on a daily chart, when I look at it, the stock has gapped down. The pre-market price is probably somewhere around here. And so the levels that I see is the one level that I can see here is at 39.81, so yesterday low, which turns out to be a bounce from here as well. So there is a moving average here that if you want to do that, again, this is the price in the pre-market. There is if you want to go higher, so there's a moving average up here as well. And that's essentially that's pretty much only clear level. So again, it's a really nice range for trading on a daily chart. So what we do, the way that the Dust Trader Pro works, again, this is a new feature that they released that you can actually do right now. It's live SPY, but what we can do is we can actually go to the replay mode. So you have to change the quote mode from normal to replay. So how do you get this window? You go into the file, data stream mode. If you click on that, this window would show up. And then you have to change the quote mode to replay. You click apply, and then you get a notification that, are you sure your computer is gonna blow up? You say okay, that's fine. And then now you're going into the replay mode. See, it's not working in real time anymore. And then you want the symbol that you want and a date that you want. So you want 27th. You can just press download. I already downloaded, so you can just re-download it. But for example, if you want another day like 24th, you can also press download. You have another day as well, or right now in 20. So even yesterday, you can actually download it. So anything that you want. But we want to actually trade the 27th. And so this is the control of the speed, and you can actually go play. Now we actually go play. Sorry. Yeah, so we just put this one here on a 1 minute chart, and now the time is 4 o'clock in the morning. So again, you don't see a lot of activity at 4 o'clock in the morning, so you might wonder, okay, what happened? Is it working or not? In these situations, you have to increase the speed a little bit because they start from the pre-market. So by increasing the speed a little bit, or you can just drag it all the way to 9:30, you can actually get a better. So 5 minute chart is not yeah. Okay, so it's a 5 minute chart. So now I'm actually reducing the speed. So it's very important for you guys to watch it in a very normal speed, especially during the trading. It's very, very important to watch it in the normal speed. Don't let this become a video game for you. You know, trading can easily become a video game, just playing and just replaying with fast speed and stuff. But no, when you're actually going to trade, it's very important for you to watch it on a normal speed because you want to understand the price action. So now I increase it a little bit, at least getting near the 9:30. But again, as you see, the stock has gapped down. So what we see, the stock has gapped down really bad, around $37. Again, we had this trade idea scanners that you know that the stock is gapping down 9%. So right now we're getting it at 8 o'clock in the morning. So again, what we see here right now, holding a low of the pre-market. Oops, sold off. Oh yeah, no. Oh, sorry, don't go. Yeah, so that's why when you go too fast. So now I'm just actually reducing it to the normal speed. So here's what I see. We have half an hour left. So what I see, actually half an hour is too much. Yeah, so let's go at least to 9. Let's see, maybe 9:25 or something. Yeah, so again, what we're seeing right now is that's just really weak in -9%, and it really cracked the low of the pre-market. It was holding. See, if it was really holding a level in the pre-market, there was a low of the pre-market around here that it was holding, and then as soon as it cracked it, the volume came in and it just even going -10%. So it's really, really weak, as you see. Again, the stock has gapped down, so potentially, you want to look at it for an opening range breakdown, because the stock is, opening range breakdown. Why? Because the stock has already gapped down. It's really weak, and potentially you want to find weakness and go short. And good thing about this stock is right now we have actually shares for short. When this S is there, it means that the stock is shortable. So you click on that. But not necessarily always the stock that has gapped down are a good candidate for opening range breakdown. Because you always have to have a good risk to reward as well. Sometimes there's various stocks that gap down, they actually open very strong and go up, and the reason for that is just because maybe sometimes people overreact in the pre-market, or just very, very extended in the pre-market. So not necessarily everything that you gapping down you should go short on them. So a few minutes to the open. So what I see, so I'm slowly going to the normal speed. The first observation that I have right now from this stock is it's very, very extended toward from the VWAP. So it's almost 70 cents from the VWAP, which is a lot for a stock that is $37. So that's a bad thing. That's a really, really bad sign for a stock that you want the stock to be near the VWAP because you want to based on your stop loss. So I'm actually going to normal speed now for this last minute. So again, my observation is this drop in the pre-market before the market opens was really let me see if I orders. Yeah, so the orders are in there, and yeah, the market line open and everything. So 30 seconds to the open. Again, understanding for me is this could be a rising level. I mean, any pop near the VWAP, a lot of people just short right at the VWAP. So if it pops, a lot of time it pops up but suddenly sell off. So a lot of people are already putting order on level 2. We don't have the level 2, but sometimes a lot of people are ready to short that. But let's not trade the rising level for now, because it's just a very complicated strategy. Brian is doing it. But what I see right now, again, the observation is very important. I mean, for me, the if-then statements that I have to be ready is, if I can get a good entry near the VWAP, and if its stock is weak, I can go short, going toward this 35.71 level that we have on a daily chart. And if the stock opened strong and come and broke through all of these levels, potentially could be a long. So right now, the market opened, heavy volume is coming. The low of the pre-market, you can actually mark that. Sometimes you can actually mark that, the 36.42. So the first minute, again, the heavy volume, The spread is not that bad. It's 10 cents, sometimes 15 cents. Let's see what it does in the first minute. You know, I'm always waiting for the first minute. So again, it's very, very important to watch it in the normal speed. Again, don't let this become a video game for you. Just, you know, go and check the price and come and play and have fun with it. No, really, you have to observe it in like a real account and real trading. So right now I see weakness. It seems that it's weakness, but the only issue that I have is it's very, very far from VWAP. So 20 seconds left for the first candlestick. So it could be a good short if it was really near the VWAP. But again, my only issue is it's really, really far from the VWAP for taking a trade on the short. On a 5-minute chart, again, now actually turned out to be a positive candlestick. So now it popped up. Again, it's not a good. So again, opened very strong. So this potentially could be a 1-minute opening range breakup, but I'm not gonna take that trade for a 1-minute opening range breakup. And the reason for that is because again, it's just stock has gapped down, and there are VWAP, there's moving averages. So I really don't like to take this stock for opening range breakup. You know, potentially you can. There's nothing wrong with that, but again, because the stock is weak and it's below the VWAP, these moving averages are here. I just don't like to take this stock to the opening range breakdown, breakdown. Right now it's looking that it wants to go down, but again, I'm not taking it because it's just very extended from the VWAP, and this extension was mostly because of this drop in the pre-market. If it wasn't for this drop, we would have been probably in a better situation. So if you want to take it to the short, where do you want to put your stop loss? Again, your stop loss has to be here, and the risk is really high. That's why I didn't take it to the opening range breakdown. And now in this example, again, what I see is just a sign of strength, not weakness, really. I'm sure a lot of people went short here for opening range breakdown. A lot of probably good traders, they got caught here, but you know, it's just now this is definitely not a short anymore for me. Look at this huge pop, and now we're actually testing the VWAP. You know, potentially we are going to maybe close above the VWAP. Who knows? This drop was significant, but again, this is you know, that's an issue that you have when the stock is gapping down heavily like that. You don't, you know, it's very difficult to take it to the long side. Again, you know, you have all of these moving averages and levels and everything at the same time. You don't want to take it short when it's really extended from the VWAP, because it's all about the risk to reward. So if you take it, this is your risk, you know, and the reward is just a crack of this level. It's just not worth it for you. And again, it's very, very important. I cannot emphasize how important it is to put this on a normal speed. Otherwise, you know, you just don't get a good feeling about the price action. The most important line that I see is this red line on my chart, because that shows how the stock is ticking upside or downside. It's very, very, very important for me. So now that we are getting into almost the 5 minutes, we are actually closing into the really nice 5-minute opening range breakup, and possibly this doji shows the strength. So it's actually recovering that. Maybe the market has overreacted. Yeah, see, that could have been a really good long entry here. It's beautiful from 37 to 37.32. It's a couple of minutes to close this candlestick, but you know, we punched through all of these moving averages and levels, and now we are actually closing up. So this is definitely a strongest stock. So I don't consider this was the shortest stock anymore. By no means that I try to go short at all, because just the squeeze is very strong. I don't want to chase it to the long now either, because for a couple of reasons. First of all, again, right now you are at the moving average. You don't want to go short go long on a resistance. You know, I've done that many times, and usually it doesn't end well. And you want to get an entry near the VWAP usually in these cases. So that one entry would have been a really nice entry, would have been around here. But again, it's tough, you know, but just you know, 2 or 3 minute opening range breakdown. It's not my style. My style is only either 5 minutes or 1 minute opening range breakup or breakdown. So again, the stock seems to, you know, just squeezing. So definitely is not a short anymore. The stock already popped up 2% in the first few minutes, and well, let's see what it does. Again, I see only a strength right now. There you go. So it's popping higher and higher. Yeah, potentially it could be a 5 minute opening range breakup. In this case, now that we punch through all of these moving averages and levels, what I can see is potentially a 5-minute opening range breakup. Again, look at the time. We're getting into the candlestick to close this candlestick, and any good entry around here could be a good 5-minute opening range breakup. So I mean, this would be probably our 5-minute candlestick. And again, you don't want to chase it right up there, but anything, any drop, like this drop right now on a 5-minute candlestick can be a potential good entry. You know, for example, right now I see if it drops to more than half of this candlestick, then it's an issue. But right now it looks like a really good entry. You know, you can just jump in a little bit here, you put your stop loss below the VWAP on this moving averages. That could have been definitely a good entry for a 5-minute opening range breakup. Again, the stop loss in this case, your stop loss can be definitely, you can put again, you don't want to go long here. You know, you're waiting for a pullback, but sometimes this becomes an engulfing. So if the stock is dropping more and more and more, I would have probably get out somewhere around here, because if it just drops too much, then you really don't want to hold it, because then it might become an engulfing crack. Some people wait for the breakout. Some people entry is around here, so they wait actually for the breakout of 5 minutes. So that's again another strategy. I usually look into the body of the candlestick, but I like to have the body of candlestick very close to the wicks. So you really don't want to take opening range breakup on a stock that, you know, has a huge wick. You know, that's usually not a good candidate for opening range breakup or something. So again, it's very important to watch it on the normal speed, because you're getting a feeling of price action and ticks and these, how the time and sells moving. This is very important. So my average right now is 37.28. So already 40 cents up. It's not a bad move. Again, the share size and everything is you know, hypothetical. The P&L really doesn't matter here. It's all demo, and I really didn't put any thought on the risk management or share sizing. It's just an example. But you know, see, it seems that it's getting ready really for a breakout high of the day. Again, even now, if you start scaling out, it looks like a potential. Right now, it looks like a 1-to-1 risk to reward. I mean, I usually have, you know, if you put your stop loss, this looks like a, if you break out, you have at least in your one risk. So if you put the one risk here, the reward is almost at the one reward, but you definitely need more. You need this one to more. And when you look at the levels, I think there are a couple of levels up there. So the high of pre-market, somehow around 37.74 is the high of pre-market. You know, that's the first level. You know, you can probably somewhere around here, more accurate. Yeah, so you're sitting at around the high of pre-market. Let's see if you can crack that or not. Taking a little bit of time, so that's a little bit worrisome. The fact that it's not really pushing through this level, it's just a little bit worrisome. But it did eventually. So I mean, it's not a crazy idea to just, you know, start scaling out a little bit, you know, as you break out. You know, it's again, really depends on your strategy, your share size. But for me, you know, I'm almost getting a 2-to-1 risk to reward on that. So you know, that's definitely a worth for me to get, I think, a 10%, a little bit of share size out of that, so just book the profit a little bit. I think I took 500 shares or something on that. And you know, this 37.67 was a level. So 38 is also a, you know, psychological level. It's a round number, and again popped up. If you have level 2, you can probably see some signals on level 2 as well. But in this example, we probably don't have level 2. Yeah. And again, yeah, we you know, it was a really nice breakout on the was a really nice breakout on the level break, you know, pre-market high. So we scaled out a little bit on, you know, almost half of my position out at this, and see what it does. I mean, the stock is really strong. You know, my stop loss in this trade management, my stop loss is now at break even. So now that I'm scaling out, I rather not to really get out of my position on a loss. And if the stock is really dropping, coming below 37.20, then there's a good chance that a lot of people who are long up there would get stopped out. And you know, So you really don't want to do that. So my stop loss is now at the kind of break-even point. Some people use a lot of people are asking me, how do you define this as stop loss? So I look at the price action. My style is just look at the price action, and I decide if I want to get out or not. But some people just press. You can actually define a hotkey that you can actually put the stop loss for you there. In these strongest stocks, in these situations, some people add into their position on these pullbacks to moving average. So obviously this is the strongest stock, but I personally don't do it. One of the reasons is I'm really bad at it. I still have to practice on that. But a lot of time these drops to 9 or 20 moving average can be a potential entry. You can actually add into your position if you want. Again, on a 5-minute chart, we still have this higher high and higher low. So we still have this higher high and higher low. Stock is coming very close to my break-even point. Potentially if it drops and tests this, I want to get out of it. Still haven't touched that, so I'm still at 37.28. Again, this break-even point is also not 100%, so sometimes you can actually, it's all discretionary trading, so you can actually make a decision. Sometimes you want to get out now, say, okay, you know what, I'm convinced that it's gonna reverse, so I want to get out of it. So but the stock still is making higher lows on a 5-minute chart. It did see a little bit struggling at 38, and as soon as it popped up, it started dropping down. So that's why I'm not going to add into that. I really don't like the fact that we didn't get a really nice follow through. And also you have to remember that the stock is gapping down, so you're not dealing with the stock that is in all-time high. You're essentially dealing with the stock that is weak, but now it's just kind of recovering. So that's a good sign. Now it seems that it's coming back up. And again, observation is really important for you to again, stock is going toward the high. Again, level 2 in these situations help. Really level 2 in these situations help. But it seems that for us at this stage is making an ABCD pattern like this, and that this is another ABCD pattern, and this looks like another consolidation here. This moving average holds as a support. So again, this could be your stop loss, anything below the moving average. And now we're going for the crack of high of the day at 38. 38, again, as I mentioned, these round numbers usually act as a psychological level. And again, if you have the level 2, and hopefully that's who's gonna release this level 2 feature soon, a lot of time you can see signals. If you don't see any big ask, then maybe time to get out. But if you see huge asks, then that's a good sign. That means a lot of big players are expecting the price to go higher and higher. And again, you can go faster. You can just go into the faster speed, but don't do it. Again, I'm really big advocate of the fact that you have to take it very seriously, and in a way that again, for me in this case, I'm probably want to sell a little bit more in this area at 38. It seems that it's really getting toppy at 38, so actually I wouldn't mind at all to get out of the position. It seems that it's having trouble at 38. Yeah, it's really toppy around 38, and especially if there is no signal on level 2, I wouldn't mind getting out of my position. I have a good gut feeling about the movement of a stock, but gut feeling is really not a good teaching a strategy, but it's coming from experience. It's a kind of feeling that, okay, it just doesn't have the juice, doesn't have the steam to go up, But it comes really with experience. So again, you see it's struggling a lot, and this 38, you're expecting it to go there, it doesn't. So you might say, you know what, I don't want that. I'm getting out of it. That's if I were trading it, I probably would have been bailed most of my position. Maybe leave a little bit to go up. You could go, take a you could take a little bit shares on that. Again, I'm just all of this trade management that I'm doing and thought process is new, is fresh. It's not exactly what I did, but again, that now that I hold through this pullback, it would have made sense for me to be more patient. Really would have been more patient for me to be to hold it through for the break of 38, but maybe we can get in there too. Maybe we can get another entry near these moving averages. Maybe we can get in there. Again, the volume is coming, the volume is passing through this average volume. Yeah, so that was a 5-minute opening range breakup. That that was a 5-minute opening range breakup, but a very perfect entry. That's just the entry was really, really nice and really, really perfect. That I'm actually very proud of this entry that I did. Again, it looks really toppy right now at 38. You can obviously see that there was some struggle here, and now there was some struggle here. Let's see, actually can hold it through or not. I mean, this is my observation that it's a little bit toppy at 38. Still is very strong. It still meets all the criteria for staying long in there. Again, I shouldn't have got out completely out of that. I should keep this position, but I just this is just for demonstration purposes and for thought process. Again, 5 minutes still is very 5 minutes still is very bullish. So you always have to analyze it depending on what time frame you're using, in 1 minute, 2 minute, whatever. Higher time frames are always very important for you to give you a overall direction of the strength. So still in 5 minutes we are in a strong. So that means that you should definitely not short this stock, because the stock still is in a higher time frame, higher high and higher lows. Again, it fails to really break above 38. But at the same time, these moving averages are really holding. These moving averages are really holding as a potential support. So every time it's bouncing back, there is a buying pressure coming. So this is also important to understand that there is a buying pressure. On a 5-minute chart, we're getting extended, so that's an issue. That in 5-minute chart, you need these moving averages to come. They need time to moving averages to kind of catch up with the price, but they are still haven't come. So this 38 seems definitely like a very strong level. You can also define another time and sells with the filter of just bigger price. So this closed as a doji. So again, it didn't drop to the moving averages. I see a sign of strength on that. So that drop, that's possibly, if it holds this moving average, possibly could be another entry, because now what I see is another sort of ABCD pattern. So another ABCD pattern that I see here, holding this moving average for the break of high of the day. A little bit extended on a 5-minute chart, and that could be an issue. But if you see a clear signal on level 2, or if you really like the moves on the time and sells and the order flow, could be possible long. Again, a lot of people go long right in this drop on the moving average. So now, again, it was very toppy around 38. The high of the day right now is around it's around 38, but possibly could be a good. Again, it's just holding this, becomes a doji again. This candlestick, it means that there is still a strength. My only concern is that it's getting too extended on a 5-minute chart, and anytime you can do a big pullback. But I would go long here. I mean, with the stop loss below. With the stop loss below this moving averages, there's a possibility that you can give it 20 cents, but you can go for another break of high of the day. So again, there's a lot of volume came in. So if this time we want to go that. Yeah, again, you see it's really this time we want to go toward the 38. Not a bad idea to add a little bit more on that for the crack. Yeah, there you go. So again, white candlestick is coming. See if you can actually hold that. Again, in this second trade, oh, there you go, beautiful. In this second trade, so your stop loss would be somewhere around, it won't be the VWAP, that's for sure. It won't be the VWAP. It would be a little bit below the VWAP, maybe 10 cents below the VWAP. So obviously this is a good move from 38 to 38.35. So that's definitely worth to get out some of your position. But that's definitely a really nice move that we took on that. So the first trade was a 5-minute opening range breakup, and the second trade was an ABCD pattern. I mean, if you watch Ayman seminar, So this is an ABCD pattern. And again, it's very important to define a proper risk. You shouldn't define your risk here. You can, but you have to really definitely take a smaller share size. And then you have to look at for a much, much bigger move on a 5-minute chart if you want to really get a really nice move on that. But in this case, for the share size that I'm taking, like 1,000 share, I mean, I'm typically taking this share size for 1,000, 2,000 shares on these prices. You can't have, $2 or $1 of risk. That's $2,000 loss. It's not the style that at least I'm comfortable with. So you have to really define a stuff. And in this example, just this moving average turned out to be a really nice support. As you see, we had the confirmation of that as well. The only concern with this stock was the fact that it was a little bit extended on a 5-minute chart. The moving averages haven't really catch up with the price, but again, it's something that so in this another challenge that we have right now is there's really no level. I mean, that there is really no level. That's one of the big challenges that we have at this moment, is there is really no level to take the trade on. I mean, you can put the trades based on round numbers, like we went for a 38 and then 35.50, 39, 39.75. You can actually trade it based on round numbers, but but yeah, again, LK in this situation right now, we are trading in a range that there is really no serious level. There is no moving averages up here. There is nothing that you can actually trade based on that, and that's caused a really big challenge for us as a profit target. So you have to look at it as so now that for the second trade, now what I've done was I already scaled out from 38 to 38.55 or something, and now my stop loss is at break even. You can put it on a stop loss at the break even, or you can put your stop loss at the break of this moving average. Again, this moving average is acting as a potential support, is a moving support. So what you can do is you can as soon as it breaks this, you can just go out. Sometimes on a 1-minute chart, this 9 moving average, again, this is a 9 moving average that we have. 9 is not a very strong, this 9 is not a very strong support on a 1-minute chart. It's very strong on a 5-minute, but on 1 minute, it's not. Sometimes people wait for the 20, see if I can actually break down. A lot of people, when I've seen that, I used to do that too. So yeah, even change the color. It's a little bit lighter. So, to understand that, okay, this is a kind of a light support or resistance, not as strong as the 20 on a smaller time frame. But on a 5-minute chart, no, it still is very strong support or resistance. In this example, what we are having right now is now it's kind of catching up. The price action is kind of, the moving averages are coming. Again, we had a really nice ABCD pattern here, but I'm not going to jump in to this ABCD pattern for a long because we are right now extended both on a 1-minute chart from the moving average, and also on a 5-minute chart we are really extended. So I just I wouldn't take the trade here. I did take a trade here. You might ask, okay, why? What's the difference? The difference is my entry was very close to this moving average, and second part is now we are even more extended. So again, look at the 5-minute chart, this and compare with this one. So again, obviously this one is way more extended. So more and more you go higher, it's just getting more and more difficult to get an entry. So again, very important, guys, to watch it I know it takes time, but it's very, very important to understand the price action. And what I see here is just that it's constantly ticking up, and it's very, very important to see this red line, how this red line is moving. Again, I'm standing a little bit more at 38.56. I mean, it looks like it doesn't. Oh, there you go, beautiful. So I'm just getting out more at 38.79. And this is a nice example. Again, the example is because this is an opening range breakup and ABCD pattern long trade on a stock that has gap down. It was gapping down 10%. You remember at the beginning, and that's a very interesting observation that we have. So that as I say, there is no rule of thumb. A lot of people I've seen a lot of great traders, they say, okay, I know I want to go short, I want to go long even before the market opens, but I don't know how really they actually find that. For me, I always have to wait for 5 minutes or a few minutes to find a breakout. A lot of times, strongest stocks sell off, or weakest stocks like LK just keep moving higher. So still, I see no sign of weakness here. Just keeps going up. Even it's not touching the moving averages. So it's so strong that it's just. I do not see any sign of, so I mean, maybe increase the speed a little bit, just for the sake of this video. Just want to increase the speed a little bit. Again, for me, my stop loss is now either break of this moving average or at the break-even point. I'm not still sure. As the price is moving, I have to make the decision. How do I want to manage my my position? Because that's a very important part of trading. That how do you want to manage this? So again, I increased the speed a little bit just for the sake of this video, because I don't want to post the 2 hours video on the YouTube. But now we're pulling back toward this. Moving average. Again, a lot of people jump in right now. Do you see this pop? A lot of people jump in this moving average, but I wouldn't. Again, I see a huge extension on a 5-minute chart, so I wouldn't. Rather, I can I can book my profit, or I can be patient, but it's really scary to get long right now. So definitely getting out more at 38.75. I mean, this is a nice pop. Oh, these pops definitely, and you can put orders too if you have time. You can actually manually put orders. I mean, 39 is definitely something that I think 39 could be a very reasonable target right now. Again, level 2 in these situations help for you. Oh, there you go, 39, 39.10, 39.25. So again, this is a really good pop that you definitely want to capitalize on that. And you see again, you see this pattern many times. It touches this moving average on 1-minute chart and just goes up. And again, this is a strongest stock. You're dealing with a very, very strongest stock. Although it's gapping down, but it's recovering almost all of that 10%. So again, 29, 25, you should definitely get out more of your position here. And we have this 39.82 level. So that's 39.20. Okay, 39.40. That's a really good one. You should definitely get out to. Again, these tickets used to be very difficult to trade like that. Really difficult to trade like that, because every time you have to pay $5 or $10 or $3. But now, it's all based on per share. So if I press 10%, it would be 14 shares. If I get out 14 shares, it would be only 30 cents for me, because the minimum is usually 35 cents. So definitely 35.40, I want to get out of it. Again, it's really extended right now. The stock is really extended. On a 5-minute chart, you definitely don't want to go long here. Even on the pullback, I wouldn't dare to go long. And yeah, just the observation to see what happens. I mean, again, it's pulling back toward this moving average, but I do not take this trade. I do not add to my position. Because again, it's really extended on a 5-minute chart. This is a really big move from $36 to $39, almost 5-6%. So now you broke this moving average. So the next moving average is this 20. So this could be interesting to know what this 20 is doing. This 20 can also be a potential support and bounce back. But again, I have to put everything in perspective. The stock is really extended. In these situations, you can do a lot of things. You can still stick to your stick to your potential break-even point. You can wait and stick to your break-even point. Or what you can do is you can, as soon as you break off these moving averages, you can get out, because you still save this much profit on that. you don't have to wait until break-even point. If you're convinced that, okay, stock is completely reversing, this is a big candlestick, red candlestick, so I'm kind of convinced that this drop is very significant. Definitely wants to test at least this moving average on a 5-minute chart. So at least wants to come and test this moving average on a 5-minute chart. Maybe VWAP as well, but nobody really knows. But I'm convinced that now, after losing these 2 moving averages, just coming back really into my break-even point. And yeah, so I get out of my position at almost at the break-even point here. So again, we lost these 2 moving averages, definitely almost at the break-even point. Probably want to test the VWAP. I don't know exactly what happens, but there is a good chance that just chop around the VWAP, and then in the afternoon it starts moving up or down. This 39.82 level, that's the yesterday high that we never do that. So again, I got out before reaching to break-even point. I mean, if I were potentially holding it, I could have been still in there. But it's just I was convinced that this drop was significant enough that it just doesn't have enough juice. And also, again, I was out 90% of my position. I mean, if we can increase the speed, and I'm actually curious to see what's going to happen in this case. So 5 minutes really dropped. Definitely wants to test the VWAP. Should we go short? I wouldn't go short right now because the risk to reward is really not in there for me. Maybe this pullback is a good place to short, but again, it's just you're dealing with a very strong stock. So I'm actually myself curious to see what happens. It seems that he wants to test the VWAP at least once. Yeah, so it's kind of doing a consolidation here. This drop was significant, but in this example, again, if I wouldn't get out, I would have still in there. So it might go back up. Yeah, it seems that it's really, I mean, again, that squeeze, that drop, this is like a reverse V reversal rather than a pullback. I mean, someone might say, okay, what about this is a pullback, but it's just really not a pullback. This is a reversal. That's why I don't trust it for a long again. That's why I wouldn't touch this trade for a long again, because of this. This is not a good sign. If this was a normal pullback, you just come a little bit of candlestick and then, yes, maybe. But this is just that reversal. Again, it's just not a great thing for me. And if you can increase the speed, I'm just wondering what happens until the afternoon session. Yeah. Again, yeah, so it drops to the VWAP. So we obviously see it drops to the VWAP. Again, potentially could have been, this crossover could have been a short entry, for this drop. But again, I mean, it's not part of our lesson. We don't want to we don't want to discuss reversals here, but it's just, yeah, all the way to we want to see 12 o'clock. Yeah, so apparently we never reached to this 39.82. We bounced back from that area, and it's just chopping around below the VWAP. If anything, it might be a short and drops even more. But yeah, so never really came back up. And again, as long as lost VWAP stayed here for about half an hour and just yeah, I can reclaim the VWAP. But again, we're getting into the afternoon session. I don't want to touch these kind of trends at all. See the candlesticks are getting really choppy, very difficult to find a level. to find the momentum on that. So it came above the VWAP, and I'm just curious to see what it does in the afternoon session. Yeah, again, we are getting into a time of the day that almost, it's just pure choppiness. Everything that you see is just constantly, these levels are magic. You can see how bounced back from this 37.67, dropped, and yeah. And again, it's just kind of a false breakout. But yeah, overall, I mean, we can just go back into the normal speed, and I think it closes. Yeah, it came back even to the low of the day, so it's struggling at the low of the day at 36.42, which is the low of the pre-market as well. And we're getting almost at the close, so the volume's coming in. Half an hour to the close, bounce back through this 36.42. Did you see that 36.42? Let me see, and just so this is the low of the pre-market that we marked it before the market opens. Thor is trading based on that really nicely. I mean, he got a really good feeling on this. If you have any question about these pre-market levels, definitely email Thor, because he's really trading nicely based on that. And yeah, so again, we're getting into the time of the day, almost close, so you don't want to do anything. I'm definitely not behind my desk, but overall that was a really good education. Yeah, so again, as a recap, we did the 5-minute opening range breakup and one ABCD pattern. And again, I didn't just to mention that what we did actually is I did take that trade. If you go back into YouTube, you see that for my trading on January 27, I took the second trade. I didn't take the 5-minute opening range breakup, so I didn't take this trade. But I did take that live trade in the chat. I don't know exactly why I didn't take it. I think I was trading NNVC at the open, so you can see the recap. I'll probably explain. But that's exactly the kind of trade that I did. But more importantly, I just wanted to have the thought process with you guys, that how I'm actually thinking when I see the stock and price action. But this turned out to be a really nice opening range breakup, and also this is a trade that I took live, and that replay was interesting to see. I was actually wondering myself that if I take almost the same trade, I mean, it seems that I did, exactly, I jump in. And I remember that Brian called it in the chat, and one of the reasons that I jump in was because Brian called it. All right, guys, have a good day. Well, thank you so much for watching. And so this does the replay feature. So this level is really holding 36.42. And this dash replay feature is a really interesting one, but don't let it become a video game for you guys. So very, very important to treat it really nicely. Have a good day, guys, and I'll see you all tomorrow in the chat.